Hey everybody, this is Scott with GuitarandBass.com. Thanks for checking out this video. Today we're going to talk about capos. So many of my students have questions about capos, and in fact I had a lot of questions about capos too. Before I used them, I would see them and be like, what is that thing? And I would hear the old timers call them cheater bars, and you're going to use your cheater bar, right? So for the longest time I never used a capo. I was playing mostly electric guitar, and I didn't see any need or use for it. But later on, through teaching, started realizing that it was very helpful for students to play songs instead of playing bar chords, which they might not be able to do like in the beginning. We could still play songs that they were interested in and play along with recordings by using a capo. And then also with some other students who were singing a lot but wanted to learn to accompany themselves on guitar, we would use the capo to take a song and make it in a higher key or lower key to fit their voice. So two distinct uses for the capo would really give you a lot more opportunities to do things on the guitar. So we're going to talk about that today. But first, let's talk about the two basic types of capos. You have one capo that you can actually adjust the tension and how much pressure is going to go on the strings. And so the concept behind a capo is that we're going to make the string shorter. We're going to create a new head, and that's what capo means in Italian. We're going to create a new starting point for the guitar. So you know, as we make a string shorter, it gets higher in pitch. So in essence, you're changing the key of the guitar. You can change it by half step or whole step. So that's what that capo is going to do. So I have an adjustable one where I can turn the thumb screw and just make it as tight as I want and not too tight. And then there's the non-adjustable type that just uses a spring, and it's under the same amount of tension no matter what. Okay, so a couple advantages and disadvantages. Let's talk about the non-adjustable. This one's called a quick change because you can quickly pull it on and off with one hand. Okay, that's useful, especially in performance. Okay, so you can get it on really quick. The disadvantages, like we said, it's the same amount of tension. So sometimes these non-adjustable capos will make you play out of tune, especially if you use it on an electric guitar that has lower string tension. Your intonation can have issues because it's pressing too hard, making the strings go sharp, or some of them, and maybe not all of them. So on an electric, I definitely like to use the adjustable one because I can get it dialed in just right. On the acoustic, I don't notice as much of a difference. The strings are under more tension. They're less likely to do that. But it's good to have both. It's good to have both, and you can experiment. But let's use one. So let's start with our key of G chords, and we're going to use just the four basic chords from the key of G: the G, the C, the D, and the E minor. So that's the 1 chord, alright, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, and the 6 chord. With those 4 chords, you can, most songs use those 4 chords of the key, with some exceptions, but you can get through a lot of songs with those 4 chords. So I've got my 4 chord shapes, and I'm in G. Well, here's the beauty of the capo. Let's say a song is in A. Now A is going to have at least one bar chord that you'll use. Okay, the 6th chord will be an F sharp minor, so that's a bar chord. It could also have, if you're going to use the 2 chord, that would be a B minor. So potentially it has 2 bar chords in it. Now bar chords there's nothing wrong with bar chords, they sound good, but they require so much hand pressure that if you can avoid them, then you're going to save your hand. And also on an acoustic guitar, it's really nice to have that open string sound. So anytime you bar, you lose a little bit of the resonance, in my opinion. So by using a capo, let's say I want to play an A. Well, if I'm in G here, I'm going to go up 2 half steps. G goes to the G sharp. Now I'm in A, so I'm going to make my G chord. So I'm making a G chord shape, but it's really an A. It's an A, right? But I'm making a G. That's my C chord shape, but it's actually a D. This is my D chord shape, but it's actually an E. Now here's the beauty of it. Because in A, the 6th chord would be an F sharp minor. That would be a bar chord. Well, guess what? I just play E minor shape, and the capo is being my bar. So right away, if I need to play an A, it's going to be much easier to capo fret 2. And you can keep going. Let's say you want to play in B. Well, that's A. A goes to A sharp. And now B, I'm going to use my same shapes. I'm playing a G shape, but it's actually a B chord. Now B is going to have a couple bar chords in it. So it's really, that would be one very difficult to play a long time on the acoustic if you had that many bar chords. So I'm in B. So that gets me through a lot of keys. I've got the key of G, the key of A, and the key of B. And of course I could do anything in between. Like if a song was in, instead of A, maybe it was in A flat or G sharp. You know, that would be all bar chords on a guitar if you're playing in flat or sharp keys. Well, I could just, if I want to play in G sharp or A flat, put the fret capo on fret 1. So now I'm playing an A flat or G sharp. They're inharmonic. That means that it's the same sound. It's just if you go up, you would call it a G sharp. If you go down, you call it an A flat. That's called an inharmonic tone. Alright, so you can play a variety of keys with the same chord shapes. Now this is cool. So I got up to B, right? Well, I can, with one more set of chords, chords in the key of C. Let's do the chords in the key of C. The 1 chord is C. The 4 chord is F. And the 5 chord is G. And the 6th chord is A minor. Alright, so let's say I want to play in the key of D. Well, the key of D is going to have a B minor bar chord for the 6th chord. So if I want to get rid of playing that B minor bar chord, then I'm going to put the capo on fret 2, okay, and I am going to play a C shape. But guess what? That's a D chord. That's my G chord, all right, and then my A chord. So I have D, G, A, C. And then for my 6th chord, the B minor, but I'm playing an A minor shape. So I've got, let's go through all the keys that we have with the capo. If I'm using G, the key of G shapes, I have G, A, and B. Of course, then if I go to the key of C, I have C. Now I have D. Guess what? I move it up another whole step, and now I'm in the key of E. Alright, E. So you can see with the capo, you can play in all of the keys using just the shapes from the key of G or the key of C. It's amazing. And you can just, if you want to play along with recordings that are in sharp or flat keys, this is the way to go. It's also a beautiful sound too. It's not cheating by any means, even though the old timers sometimes call it a cheater bar. Alright, so that's really, in terms of transposing and being able to play in all the keys, that's a huge thing with the capo. And again, for singing. So like if you're singing, let's say the song that you want to play is in G, but it's kind of low for your voice. Well, again, you just find what key you play the same chords, but you find a higher key, right? Or vice versa. You go lower, lower key. So it's really, really huge in that way. Okay, now let's talk about. So those are the two practical reasons for capo. But then there's some cool capos out there, some unique ones. This one's called a cut capo, and it covers it. It gives you, it allows. It's kind of like a drop D capo in a way, but it's only going to cover the 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings. So if I put this on, what it does, it gives me essentially. Well, it's going to create an E sus chord, which is a major chord. So, when you play the guitar with open strings, pretty much you get a minor chord, like a minor 7 chord. But if you want a major chord, put this cut capo on. You get all this kind of open, cool stuff. Alright, so a lot of cool things you can do with a capo. So let's recap. Really, 2 types of capo. You have adjustable. I never put this one on, but let's try. With adjustable, they're not mid-performance. You can't change them mid-performance. It takes 2 hands to do it. And you just put it on there, and clamp it down. But it works the same. So you have an adjustable. You have the non-adjustable, sometimes called a quick change, and you have kind of modified ones. There's even just a drop D capo where it covers all the bottom 5 strings and leaves the top one open. Okay? And then the uses of them, really 2 main uses. For singing, so you can change the key, higher or lower, and then for transposition. So you can, with 2 keys, 2 sets of chords, in G and C, you can pretty much play all of the keys out there, that you might have to play, especially sharp and flat keys. So really a cool thing to explore. Hope you give it a try. And again, I would recommend getting both types. Maybe start with the non-adjustable first, if you have to pick over one, and then kind of move into an adjustable, and then get some specialized capos and really explore the world of capo. Well, thanks for checking out this video, and look forward to seeing you next time.